Hello.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Not too shabby. A little under the weather, but that's okay.
Hate to hear it. Hate to hear it.
Yeah, sucks to suck. So, um, in regards to the fact that this is, you weren't the one that signed up with the coaching session, that means I don't have the role in MMR information for you. So, would you mind letting me know what that is right now?
I sure will. I am primarily playing Pause One in my group of buddies, um, and my MMR is currently 613. So 613. So really, probably about 100 of that is like fake MMR that I got from like double downing against account farm bots.
I see.
So probably more realistically like 500.
Do you play do you play in a party or generally with your friend Leadwolf and the other guy I coached, or is that
Yes.
separate?
I primarily play with them, but exclusively with them or another friend. There's a group of 4 of us, and I exclusively play ranked with at least one of them, if not the group of them.
Gotcha. So you've been playing for about the same amount of time as them, which was like 10 years or so, or no?
Yes. My first match, I think I checked Dota Buff, was in 2012, the end of 2012.
Gotcha. So what would be your reason you think for being in the MMR you're in, and what would most help you today?
As far as reason for being in the MMR, just haven't taken the game seriously for most of playing it. We haven't been play for like the vast majority of the like fucking 13 years or whatever that I've been playing has been unranked. Just kind of playing casually, just because we like the game and the game's fun.
Yeah, so it's been more
And
about
so
playing together.
yeah, we just for a long time have all really liked Dota and playing it, so we just do that. And then only recently, like within the last few months, have we actually delved into ranked and like actually kind of trying to be like good at the
Was
game in
that
any
like a group
capacity.
decision, or what happened here?
It was kind of a group decision. One of the main kind of catalysts for switching to ranked is we kept in unranked getting matched with people that were like literally playing their first game ever. And then
Mm,
we were like, okay, let's just play ranked. Then at least we know that they'll at least have like a little bit under the belt.
I see.
Uh, but other reasons too. I know Leadwolf. Me and him duo queue or used to duo queue a lot of ranked Rocket League, and so we kind of like to play semi sort of in a competitive sense and kind of improve and see where we're at in that.
Gotcha.
So
Cool, man. So what is your goal for today's session? Like, I understand you're looking to get a little bit better and stuff. The last guy that came from your group, pardon me, I can't remember his name.
Dadareth, I think
Yeah,
it would have been.
Dadarith. Yeah, he was all about Spirit Breaker in the off lane. Is there like
Sure.
a particular hero you're looking to refine today? Is there like a stage of your game you'd like to work on? What would what would you like the most today?
Really, I have a Juggernaut game on deck, and Juggernaut who I've been kind of spamming recently. Him and Ursa.
Okay.
Um, and so I have a Juggernaut game picked out. Just because in the last 7 days I didn't really have an Ursa loss that I felt was. We had an Ursa loss where the other team had a really 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 good Smurf that just totally annihilated us, and
Gotcha.
so I didn't. I was like, I don't really feel like that game is probably too valuable to take a look at, but I had a jug game that we lost that I felt there's probably a lot that I could have done better in like the laning phase. And as far as what I'm looking to get out of it, probably just tips as far as in the laning phase, as far as like how to last hit and secure farm better, and then transitioning from the laning phase to mid game, like what my farm patterns should look like, specifically when a game starts to go badly and it kind of feels like there's not really a safe place to farm.
Sure, man. We'll do as much as we can in the time we got. You want to go ahead and send me that replay ID for
Yeah,
your
so
Juggernaut game?
that's the match ID. Is that correct?
Yeah, that is correct.
Okay.
That is what I was asking for. Okay. Come on. There we go, Dota.
And I have an inkling that the Marcy on the other team may have been a Smurf on this as well, just because low amount of games and was doing some like Helm of the Dominator type shit that I felt like for somebody with like sub 200 wins didn't feel particularly natural, but might be, I don't know, might be just mad because bad.
Yeah, it's interesting for me. I'd like to ask the question: what is the reason for worrying about them being Smurfs or not? Like, why is that a question you ask yourself?
I don't know, just because, I mean, ideally, right, at any given rank, you're playing against somebody that is of the same or similar skill level.
I see.
So I suppose you might argue is kind of the purpose of it, right? Like, we naturally want to just get better and, kind of choose it as a, I'm good at the game badge. But, I mean, really, the purpose of ranked, right, is that you're kind of always supposed to be playing against people of your skill level. So that, for me, is kind of why buzz me. But
Gotcha.
it's neither here nor there. A Smurf is just somebody that's better at the game than me, right? So
yeah, I guess for me, it's just it's potential noise, in my opinion. I think it's nice in theory to have an explanation for why you lost. But like, I guess in my head, if that explanation doesn't make me better at the game, then I don't value it personally.
Sure.
And it's for me, it's kind of like if I say somebody's a Smurf, or if I think they might be, what takeaway do I have from that?
Yeah.
So that's why I asked. But yeah. Marcy, this is a very scary lane. That's like my initial thought here. Very scary lane, but Veno for some reason leveled wards level 1.
Yeah, I tried to take advantage of it. Kill as many wards as I could as the lane went on.
I got a question. When I watch you moving...
Yeah.
Why are you moving so much?
I don't know. It's a good question.
Like, if you watch how much you move... Like, what are you dodging?
Nothing.
Interesting. Okay, so I think the first thing I try to teach people... Everybody's different in terms of how I teach this to them. For Datarath, I gave him a different example because he's talking about a different hero and a different role, and he's a different player, obviously. Is I try to give everybody questions that I feel like they previously weren't asking themselves. Because for me, to stay in the same rank means that you're never evolving the questions that you're asking yourself, or you're never really answering questions at all. A lot of people, I'll ask them, why are you doing this? And, the most common answer, the lower MMR you go, the more likely the answer is, I'm not consciously doing that, right? So it may seem really simple, but I think one of your biggest things from this session I would want you to take, because this isn't something you can really answer right now or do anything with, you're welcome to ask me a question, but to be able to explain to me or yourself why you're moving.
Sure.
And to just decide, I'm going to move back and forth, because what you're not doing in this time is hitting creeps when you're walking back and forth. So for me, as carry, if I'm a carry that attacks really fast, I'm going to rewind for a second. One of the benefits of being a carry that attacks really fast is when this guy walks away, I can kill this creep before he comes back.
Sure, yeah,
So
yeah.
like right now, I would want you attacking this creep like relentlessly right now. Attack this one, then this one. That's going to keep the lane in front of your tower. That's going to potentially deny him creeps that he's not in position for. So generally speaking, the person that's winning the lane is able to attack more creeps, like whether it's last hits or denies. That means they just have more control over the lane equilibrium. Do you know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So that's what you're giving up by randomly moving. So
Okay.
I want you to see that if you don't have a reason to move, this is what you would be doing. And so all the times that you are moving, I'm hoping to now point out that there is a cost to you randomly moving back and forth.
Sure.
So that's the goal here. Let me know if you have a question.
Yeah, no. Makes sense to me.
Sweet. Yeah, I think that's your biggest issue CSing, honestly. Like, by far your biggest issue.
Okay.
Is just moving too much. And by moving too much, you're not hitting creeps enough. Okay, yeah, we're cleaning out those wards. Thank you, Venomaster. Appreciate it. Okay. Okay, so they're not really playing the lane very well. This Marcy's a smurf. He's not a very good one. Like, with all due respect, I would have killed you like 4 times.
Sure.
Okay. Okay. This applies to any hero that can jungle. So Jug has spin. A lot of carries around level 5 can jungle. Even before. So this applies.
Before farming, yeah. Sure.
Yeah, so this specifically applies past 5 minutes. And the reason why that's a really hard cutoff, and it's not that it doesn't apply at all before 5 minutes, but it's such a hard cutoff because of neutral items. Like, just thinking about
Yeah.
items you're buying, think if you get 10 damage and 10 attack speed on your neutral item. Like, how much gold is that? You know what I mean? That's a shit ton of gold. That's like better than a glove of haste. That's better than this. That's like 750 gold, like minimum. You know what I mean? For how much a neutral item gives you. So around 5 minutes into the game, you are either attacking lane creeps and pulling, or you are jungling. Like, you are, the only thing you are not doing is staticking the lane in front of your tower. That is the only thing you're not doing. So it's now our job to be more efficient than sitting on top of the creep wave. Like, that is not sufficient past 5 minutes. Because for the first 5 minutes, you don't really have enough items, sustain, and like levels and stuff to jungle. But now we do, and it's also heavily beneficial that we kill these small camps as soon as possible because of the neutral items. And it also not only gives us neutral items, but it also provides our team with neutral items. These are like small things that make a big difference in the grand scheme of the game. So when I'm watching you play here, I would want you to analyze your own game from 5 minutes onwards of how often you're sitting in lane, not hitting a creep and not farming. So this right here, you're not. I would want you hitting this creep, like hitting something. And if you don't feel like you can hit it, you leave. Do you know what I mean? So the way you maximize your farm, so like I'm just going to give you this note. 0 to 5 minutes, what matters to me is, why are you moving? If you are moving, you are not controlling lane by hitting creeps. So that's your focus for the first 5 minutes, okay? From like 5 minutes onwards, this is like, I'd say 5 minutes to 10. It's not that it doesn't apply after this, but it especially applies here.
Sure.
You are either hitting creeps in lane or hitting creeps in jungle. Assess your efficiency by how often, how many seconds, actually, how many seconds you are not hitting creeps or walking somewhere to hit creeps. So I would love, like, for you, it's a good thought exercise as you move after this session, meaning like for every game you now play moving forward, to look at this and think, you know, right here, how long did I, like in this exact moment, how long did I go? Right now, it's 5:56 was the last time I attacked. 5:56. 10 seconds. You know, that's a lot of time. And like if we add this up over the course of, like, you know, we can just find another one. So you're attacking right now. You know, we rewind. Okay, now you're here. Like, that's like another. So what I would want you to do here, if you don't feel safe walking up, would be to defensive aggro into your tower and then hit the creeps. That's like, that allows you to not only, the reason why you're hitting creeps is to kill them faster, right? The tower is a tool to kill them faster.
Okay.
So in this case, the whole game is, I want to be right-clicking creeps as often as humanly possible. Now, dragging them into tower means that I'm safer doing it, and the tower is also doubling down on me right-clicking them. So that's like everything I'm communicating to you is using defensive aggro, using the tower, various mechanics. You can use spells depending on your hero and matchup. Like, you might use spin to just push the wave. I wouldn't use it here because they could go on you afterwards. But the whole idea is everything I'm teaching you between 5 to 10 minutes is just tools to hit creeps. So you then see all of these times where, like, look at this, right? You're just, this creep wave showed up at 30 seconds, right? This is when it showed up. Your first time attacking an enemy creep, right now, 12 seconds. Let's make that 0. Right? Continuously. Maybe 1 second, right? And if you eliminate these random 10 seconds, I want you to think 10 seconds is you walking over here and spinning this and coming back.
Okay. Yeah,
like, that's just 60, 70 gold, neutral item missed, stuff like this. Also, this type of stuff is going to happen way more when you're laning consistently. Your support's going to try to help you. They're going to go in and die. You're going to find yourself fighting a lot more. Every second you spend here not attacking increases the likelihood that you are going to fight. And as a carry, we don't win by fighting. We win by farming for as much as possible of the first 20 minutes. That's how we win games, right? You know, we weave fights in there. It's not like we're just completely AFK, but we're trying to minimize the amount of fights we're taking. So yeah, same thing here. Would have wanted you to. I mean, it's the whole story. Like, I'm not gonna, like, you know, cheer your ear off for this. We'll just keep going.
Sure.
I'm sure you see it now. So.
Yeah. My only question, and you know, it might require maybe some context that I'm, you know, maybe supposed to have that I don't have. The reason why I guess I try to avoid auto attacking the lane, or attacking the lane too much, is trying to, like, keep it closer to the tower. You know, and not, like, ruin the equilibrium. And so at what point should I kind of feel that it's okay to, you know, kind of more push the lane out by attacking because obviously the quicker you kill the, you know, the waves, like, the more you're going to kind of push the wave forward.
Why do you value holding lane equilibrium? What do you see as the value of that?
Just being able to CS more safely.
Okay. So then my answer to you is that generally lane equilibrium is used to
Mhm.
CS more safely so that you can CS more.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Sure.
So the balance is when it's actually making you CS less. That can be at
Mhm.
40 seconds into the game, that by maintaining lane equilibrium, you're actually CSing less because the enemy doesn't let you. I had a
Sure.
coaching
Sure.
session on that maybe a week or two ago.
Mhm.
So your number one priority is getting more CS.
Okay.
So the answer is you don't prioritize lane equilibrium when it's giving you less CS. At 5 minutes in, especially on Jug, it is giving you
Mhm.
less CS to
Okay.
just prioritize it there. Like I can give you that like black and white answer of it will give you less. But what I tell people a lot of times, it makes sense that that's like a guiding priority for you, is that there's like 5 or 6 things that could dictate your priority in lane, and you're always prioritizing that one, is what it sounds like.
Okay.
So I guess I would encourage you. Yes, lane equilibrium is nice, but past 5 minutes, your priority needs to be I'm hitting creeps as much as 24/7 as possible, like as close to
Sure.
100% of the time. And that is more valuable. Now, that's going to cause unstable situations. The
Uh-huh.
lane's pushing out. You might have to farm hard camp and you're not sure if you can. You're going to go farm small camp and it's blocked, or like it's going to create more dynamic nature to the game, but it's going to give you way higher ceiling of GPM. Does that make
Sure.
sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So right now you're playing like a very stable way. And for almost everybody, if not everybody that I coach, I'm going to tell you something that's going to add variables and it's going to make your decisions more complicated, but it's because that's how you get better, right? So
Sure. Yeah.
you're going to be thrown in a bunch of scenarios, but as long as you prioritize after 5 minutes, how often am I hitting creeps over lane equilibrium, you're going to be thrown into a bunch of new scenarios now, and that's fine. And so definitely at 5 minutes in, but no, it could be earlier,
Sure.
just for the record. Okay, so what happened here? You Omni slash Master. Is this lack of familiarity with Marcy, or what happened here?
So this was a fundamental misunderstanding of Marcy.
Okay.
I thought that her shit worked like kind of like Monkey King's, where she gets like a certain amount of attacks with the crazy like lifesteal bonus. But I did not realize it. It's just a constant with her ult. So that was just me misunderstanding how her ult worked.
Gotcha. Yeah, I would like to illuminate the fact that you have not hit a single jungle camp in 10.5 minutes.
Okay.
Generally, I will clear 1 to 2 creep camps per minute following 5 minutes.
Okay.
So that's just a good thing to strive for. You know, sometimes, you know, if I'm purely jungling, it's more. But if I am laning, it's still 1 to 2 jungle camps per minute. What is your idea of returning to lane here? What is your goal? What's going through your mind?
I guess just hitting more creeps. I guess I was gonna come to lane. I think was I walking back? I feel like I was getting something delivered by the courier, so I walked back to grab it, but I might be wrong.
No, nothing on the courier.
Okay.
You know, I'm just seeing this decision making, and I'm wondering why you. What's your goal here? Why are you here in the first place?
Yeah, I guess just to kind of keep on the lane creeps.
Okay. This is like 8 to 15 minutes onwards.
Okay.
There is absolutely no guarantee that you should lane anymore. Being conscious of where in lane you feel comfortable laning what heroes do you need to see in order to feel comfortable returning to lane, and generally beginning to weigh this risk to reward ratio towards jungling. The only reason you should feel like you have to lane is if you can defend your tower and they are taking it.
Okay.
If you don't go. So what that means is that returning to lane right here is different than returning to lane right here, which is different than here, and the last resort is here. So it's basically consciously assessing how far up are you allowed to be when you return to lane. And if you don't really think you can lane, then you're probably only going to come back to here. And then if you still die back here, the answer is that you weren't supposed to lane. So if you die here, that means you were supposed to not come back until it's here. If you die here, then you weren't supposed to come back till it's here. Then it's here. Do you see what I mean by that?
Yeah.
So in this case, you know, combining, you know, all the things I just said about where to return to lane, also understanding, is my tower under threat, and does the offlaner make me want to leave my lane? Most offlaners are incredibly strong at level 6, most of them. Unless your hero like counters their level 6, like Jug counters Mars, for instance, because he arenas and you spin out. You do not counter Marcy's level 6. She's just single target physical damage. None of your toolkit does anything about that. Beastmaster, Slardar, Marcy, single target physical damage. Legion, maybe Doom, kind of. You know, I'm just listing offlaners that Axe potentially that like they counter Jug's kit. Because his spin doesn't really do much to these heroes. So with that in mind, you know, if we're talking about Jug specifically and we're talking about Ursa within Rage and stuff like this, is like what heroes are good against you and what heroes mean that they have the advantage in lane and you're more likely to return back here. Ignoring the fact that there's a Skywrath Mage and Bounty Hunter ganking you, I'm virtually never walking up to a Marcy that's level 6. Like, I'm just not gonna do that. That's like that's just a general rule of thumb with Marcy, and I understand that you said earlier that you're a little bit limited on understanding of Marcy specifically.
Yeah, I don't see her a lot. She doesn't get picked a lot.
I gotcha. So that's just something to make clear that what you're doing here, it's not as much about this specific matchup against Marcy. It's more like heroes with single target physical damage will be very strong against Jug. But the biggest thing about this is you consciously returning to lane is a decision. And that is like, I'm returning to lane because this. So when I asked you the question, why are you returning to lane? Simply put, it's not a sufficient answer in the long run in terms of improving is to get CS. Like, it needs to be hero matchup based. But that is by repeatedly asking yourself the questions of this matchup, what heroes are missing, where in the lane do I want to return to, and that's just something that builds over time. Like, as long as you're asking those questions, you'll eventually have a better understanding of this dynamic. Are we all good on that, or do you have any questions?
Yeah, no, I mean, I understand that. I think I'm just kind of locked into just bad brain, where I'm like, hey, I need to go hit creeps in the lane until I have Battle Fury, and then I'm allowed to jungle after that, right?
Yeah. Most people I work with that are, I'd say there's no hard cutoffs, but I'd say like 3K and below, they have these very binary ways of viewing portions of the game.
Sure.
So a lot of times what I try to do for you guys is to break that. And it's initially uncomfortable because having it be binary is much simpler. And easier to follow, but it's ironically also what's making you not gain rank.
Sure.
So yeah, that's the goal. Is you're gonna have you're almost certainly gonna have these binary views that my questions are challenging. Like they're not going to allow you to think that way anymore, and that
Sure.
will be uncomfortable. And so I guess just embrace the discomfort because that's what will happen when you're questioning these things in your games. And since you've also been a player for quite some time, you like you said, you're kind of locked in. Like these are habits. These are
Yeah.
very ingrained. So there'll be a lot of unlearning while learning. You know, I think an arbitrary goal you can have would be to have a neutral item by like 8 minutes every game.
Okay.
That's like a solid, at least on Jug. That'll vary a bit on Carry Hero, but honestly, I think it's worth at least 300 MMR if you attack the way forward at 5 minutes and then spend this or this.
Okay.
Or like pull this camp right after at like 5:15. Like at 5 minutes, you attack the wave and then you pull it at 5:15. I think that alone is worth like 300 to 500 MMR because it's going to make you leave the lane. So just giving you like a very, this is, in my opinion, the simplest first step for you to apply what I'm telling you. I hope that helps a little bit.
Yeah.
Making it a bit more, less theoretical, more. Yeah. So now we're being a little bit more dynamic on the map. Yeah, same thing here. You're officially banned past 5 minutes from walking up to a creep wave and doing this.
Okay.
You are banned from doing this. A good rule of thumb is to attack high health creeps and CS low health creeps.
Okay.
So during this time, you may already understand what I'm saying, but during this time, you would identify the creep that's dying, and you would hit a different creep. So you would attack this one. So you'd attack that one the whole time, and then while this one's about to die, you turn and hit it. That's like the simplest way to apply this very quickly. So then, like in this case, this one's dying, you'd attack this one. And so in this time, this one's already dead right now. And then this one's dying, and then you'd finish this one, and then, like, so you'd finish this wave about 4 seconds sooner.
Okay.
Maybe 5. Looks like you're scared, I guess rightfully so, that missing on Bounty Sky. Huh. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think this game's really awkward now. You guys are down by 11k at 19 minutes.
Yeah. Spoilers, we lose.
Yeah. I don't think there's going to be too good a use of your time here. You know, we've got about 10 minutes left. Would you like to look at like a brief portion of a win or something on a different hero, or what would you like to do? I don't think this game will be a good use of the 10 minutes.
Okay. Yeah, sure. I can pull one up here. Let me see. Let me load my Dota here. I mean, I can just throw that other Ursa loss where we lost even worse.
Sure.
Nice little 24-minute banger.
Generally speaking, I think the lower MMR you guys are, the higher percentage of your focus should be on the first 20 minutes of the game.
Yeah.
So I think that's fine, generally speaking.
Okay. Is that one? This is a different game even than the one I was thinking.
Yeah, this is a 32-minute banger.
Okay, okay.
What are your thoughts with the starting items?
So I've been getting an early bracer on Ursa just because when I play him, unlike Jug, where you have the spin as kind of a get out of jail free card, I feel like Ursa, I like a little bit of extra, I guess, tankiness, so that if I'm getting got, I can kind of have just a little more survivability, I guess.
Gotcha.
And then just quelling and tangos, I guess, for reasons that probably don't need explaining, I guess.
How often would you say you defensively aggro creeps?
Not often enough. I've been trying to do it more, but definitely not often enough.
Yeah, so an example, just to show you palpably what it's supposed to do for you, is that when Mirana's hitting you from here, you would drag the creeps this way, so that they're not in tower, but you move further from the Mirana. So the reason aggro is useful is because you are minimizing damage taken. And so you are taking more damage based on your positioning and relevance to the creeps. So you're here, correctly so, because these two creeps are right here. And because these two creeps are right here, Mirana clicks you from there. So defensive aggro means that we understand that we are here because of creeps, so we must move the creeps away from whatever's hitting us. So when I watch you play the last game, I saw the same thing, but the Veno wasn't hitting you correct, like he wasn't doing anything. So it wasn't easy for me to point out what's happening to you, right? So just generally speaking, I'm just going to put defensive aggro use. Move creeps away from damage source.
If hitting creeps is unsafe, move them to somewhere safe.
Yeah, and in that case, I think the word safe is subjective. If I'm getting hit, I wouldn't call that like unsafe. I'm just taking damage.
Wasteful, I guess.
Yeah, so I guess for me, I almost immediately assumed this was going to happen based on what I saw in your last game and the fact that you tell me you buy Bracer on Ursa. Because your problem on Ursa needs to be to move creeps more, not to buy a Bracer.
Okay.
So you're definitely going to struggle with sustain. It's not that Bracer's never correct, but the reason you're having this issue that you have now addressed it by a Bracer, I think that's a nice shake up, meaning you recognized I'm having sustain issues and durability issues on Ursa, so I bought a Bracer. And now I'm just simply pointing out to you that this is not a common item build on Ursa, and the reason you have to buy it is because of this. So you might still end up buying Bracer. I'm not telling you not to buy Bracer, but you may actually solve this problem with defensive aggro. And this is an example where you defensive aggroing, sometimes you might have to pull it into tower range. But if your option is to either pull it into tower range and take 0 damage, or to get hit by Mirana 7 times, it's okay, would you rather have the lane in front of your tower getting hit 7 times, or would you rather have the lane right here? This is an example where lane equilibrium is probably less important than getting CS, and pulling the creeps into tower is going to get you more CS. So that's why it's just worth considering that if you always have lane equilibrium at the top of your priority, then you're never going to do this move. And that's why I also said bonus points if you aggro it exactly this way, because that's outside of tower range and away from Mirana. But what if Mirana's over here? Then you have to pull it into tower, you know? So that's my whole idea, is that we are trying to minimize damage. And so you just took, I think you took probably 500 damage from Mirana right-clicking you. And that's a lot. A lot, yeah. My main takeaway from this, in the other lane, you know, we had the random moving. In this one, it's no defensive aggroing. Like in each game, you're gonna have a random thing that's causing you more issues. Yeah, now you just get no CS because you can't walk up. So this is an example. This is perfect for everybody watching and to answer your question. This is an example where in the first 2 minutes, if you try to prioritize lane equilibrium, you're just going to fuck yourself. Because you've just been at such low HP for so long that you, like, okay, great. The lane has been in front of your tower for 3 minutes straight. In theory, fantastic. I have 5 CS.
Yeah.
Right? So if we had defensive aggroed and then defensive aggro the next wave and defensive aggro the next wave, we would probably have like 12 CS. And the lane would have sometimes been here, sometimes here. You know, like the lane would be more dynamic, but we'd have 2.5 times as much CS, at least, maybe more.
Basically, kept lane equilibrium, but what good has that done?
At what cost? Yeah. And that's why I asked you earlier, why do you value lane equilibrium? Because part of it, I'm glad we had this example, because this is a textbook example of prioritizing lane equilibrium for what, right? Because a lot of people, I feel like a lot of my old videos were trying to teach people to prioritize lane equilibrium. And so, you know, I'm not trying to say like I single-handedly did this or whatever, but I feel like I'm now, because I don't think your group watched my content. I'm not actually sure.
I used to watch your content actually a while back.
That makes sense.
5-6 years ago.
That makes sense then. Because I do feel like I've had a decent portion of carry players who've come from my content coming to me basically prioritizing lane equilibrium. You're probably the third or fourth. And it's been me saying lane equilibrium's great, but at what cost? You know. You know, this will be good. I think this is a great example because I've been looking to give people some examples, and I think for you it'll give solidification. Or, I don't know what the word is. It'll solidify.
Yeah.
You know how it's costing you. In this case, same thing. Just attack creeps or leave. Attack creeps or leave. Yeah, I mean, you don't even have treads yet, so it's really rough for you to even jungle. So, like, at this portion, your goal would be... I think your goal every game would be to have treads at, like, 5 to 6 minutes, and then initiate this push lane jungle thing.
Okay.
Do you not have a small camp, or what happened here? Yeah, your Veno never gave you a small camp. Or maybe he farmed it with those wards? Yeah, there's just an awful lot amount of time that you're spending between 5 to 10 minutes laning treacherously. So I think if we get... Yeah, this is just stuff you're going to have to work on one at a time. Like, my goal takeaway for you today is I have these notes for you. And I would encourage you to work on one thing at a time. I would probably prioritize defensive aggro higher than the why are you moving thing. I think if you completely abandon the importance of lane equilibrium and try to put it at like 4th priority, number 1 priority is CSing.
Right.
And in that 5 minutes, the most important priority is pushing the lane and jungling, or jungling and defending underneath the tower. Those are usually like the 2 efficient ways to play the game past 5 minutes. So if you feel like you're stronger, you push out the lane and then you go jungle. If you feel like whatever the lane position is or whatever the matchup is, you feel like you're weaker, then you usually jungle and then defend the tower. So for that one, it's just after 5 minutes, push lane and jungle, or jungle and defend tower. Answer is based on who you think is stronger. I think if you were to operate under those core principles for just, you know, gave yourself a decent game chunk, I think that would fix a lot of your problems innately over time. So I think I've given you, in my case, like in my opinion, I feel like I've given you not too much, but just enough information to gather in your future games without changing too much about what you're doing. Do you have any questions?
No, I think it's a good amount to chew on.
Sweet, man. Awesome. Any final thoughts?
Only thing is, I'm just realizing you're not Purge. What the hell is this?
Thanks, BSJ. Thanks, Purge.
No, appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem, man. I appreciate the comic relief at the end. Have a good one, dude.
Yeah, take it easy.
Yep. Wait a minute. Hey guys, we have a coaching class in about 10 minutes. So we're going to chill till then. Right on, Tribal Dota. Sounds like a fellow coach. The MMR will always be displayed in the top right-hand corner for people wondering about that for coaching sessions. What's your question about the Discord there, Zo? It's not showing because I removed it just now. It was on for the entire session for sure. I was showing this. Who is Purge? The good old Kevin? Kevin Kodak, I believe. What is Purge's last name? Is it Kodak? Yeah, Godek. Kevin Godek. What are core questions we should ask ourselves in every game? I think that's a tough question to answer. I think, like, what is your role in team fights? Are you supposed to, like, initiate? Are you supposed to counter initiate? Are you supposed to be the guy that gets initiated onto? What heroes are you targeting? What abilities are you concerned about? What are OD's facets? Hmm. Hmm. That sounds OP. I love initiating, going in first, and dying first. Hell yeah. I don't think there's such thing as like a casual Morbid mask and a casual Sage's mask. You can consider going Mask of Madness into Battle Fury, and it would be Mask of Madness instead of Treads. You can consider that. I don't know how it would go, but you can definitely try that. I wouldn't go casual Sage's mask. Ursa doesn't really use that much mana to jungle. Any tips on being more patient? Identify the reason that you would go and eliminate the feeling of feeling like you have to go. lean on the side of never going rather than always going. In my experience, people are not selective enough. In my last like 5 or 6 sessions that I've had to tell people your version of a 10 out of 10 on patience. I need it to like, if I'm talking on a scale of 1 to 10 of patience, my 10 out of 10 is a 25 for you. So I need you to dial it up to a 25. I've had to say that to them. Like, most players don't understand what the maximum level of patience is. Like, what they think is a 10 out of 10 is actually like a 4. Especially as supports, they quick to cast waste stuff. I mean, there's two sides to this coin. There's people who use ults unnecessarily, and there's people that blow their ults very fast, like they're not patient. And there's people who hold their ults when they should just use them. I mean, both are like equally destructive. Yeah. I mean, being aware of that, Natria, is really important. Now, what the first step is to, in every game, ask yourself, what is the condition for me to go in? Be as specific as possible. Your initial answers to the question will not be nearly specific enough. So your goal over time is to be more and more specific. In all of my coaching sessions that I've discussed this, people are not nearly specific enough about this. Okay, we're going to be starting the class in just a bit. Give people time to show up. Cinderin with the raid. What's up, Cinderman? Welcome, Cinderians. Cinderians. We're about to be having a dojo class, a Dota Dojo class, starting in about 4 minutes. Cinderellas, that's a good one. That's a good one. If there's only one good player on each side, one carry versus one mid, who has a higher chance to win? I actually think it comes down to the opponent carry and the opponent mid who feeds less. Like, for me, so much of Dota, in terms of winning MMR, is about not being the feeder. Like, for me, I played a Dota game today where I had a mid Viper who was lower rank than their mid. Like, he was in a counter matchup, right? He's Viper against Quap, and he had overall last pick, and he went 0-4-3. Like, this guy was lower rank, not by much, but he was. I just needed this guy to have like 10% impact, honestly. But like literally 043 got solo killed by Quap at level 3. And it's like, even if he got solo killed by Quap, like, I needed this guy to have some impact in the game, and he just did literally nothing this entire game. And it was really depressing. And so you asked that question, and my answer would actually be, how useless is the other guy? If I get a coaching session, when will it be? Right now, I'm not at all fully booked. We have like a minimum of like 3 days ahead of time, I think, that you can book, maybe 2 days. But if you wanted a coaching session, you would certainly be able to get one next week, assuming you work with my time zone. Yeah, I mean, for me, Dota is so much about not being useless. People undervalue, like they kind of cease to take accountability a lot of the time when they're having a bad game. Like a lot of the time, Dota actually comes down to the guy on your team who's having the worst game to not be useless, like to have some impact. And I feel like people kind of like lose curiosity. They kind of like they don't really take accountability for their own impact when they're having a really tough game. And I just think it really is a good goal for everybody to just not be uncarryable. Like that Viper was uncarryable. He was useless. And like I don't think he had to be useless. I didn't watch the game back. But okay, let's go ahead and start the class. I'm going to go ahead and start the recording. Welcome everybody to the class. BSJ does not sound healthy. Yes, I am sick. It's in the title. Welcome everybody to the class. Hope you guys are doing well today. Quick update. I apologize about last week. I thought it would be sufficient to remove the classes like 5 days ahead of time. But there were people that showed up to Erfon's class thinking he would be there. So in the future, we're going to figure out some way to regularly put out like an announcement every week. Something like that. In order to update you guys properly. I thought the event tab would be enough, but I'm realizing that's not the case. So we will rectify that moving forward. Okay. So let's first call up Gazu. Hello.
Hello.
So, let me just, does this work? Okay. So your question is, you're interested in my thoughts on an equivalent exercise to CS Trainer for supports. Yes, I can get in CS Trainer myself in a demo lobby and hit buttons, but it doesn't really get me in the right mindset about flow state like CS Trainer does for cores. So I've never thought about this. I'll show you something real quick. Let me share my screen with the class. whenever I'm reading stuff from the other channel guys, I'll try my best to mention it, but I'm not going to share it with you. So this is happening in this channel. But I will share my Dota screen with you. Oops. It's here. Oh, I see. Give me a second, guys. I'm struggling. Oh, I see what I'll do now. Okay. Okay. So what I would do, this is just my preliminary answer to your question, would be I would load into a custom lobby. Is it going to let me create? Okay. With bots. And so if I were you, if I'm a support, a big problem most supports have is looking around for information. I think I've talked to most of you about that. So I would load in as a support. I would skip ahead. I'm just supporting some bots. And my goal would be to... I can start the game. Oops. And buy some items. Doesn't really matter about this, but maybe it's a good practice. And then my goal here would be to look at what else is happening in the lanes. Like I'd be doing this and then do this. Click this guy, and then I'd be clicking this guy. And I'd be like trying to move my camera around between the creeps coming. Like I'd be checking things that are relevant on my screen. So like I'd be looking at this guy. I know it's a little bit wonky because people are like picking up bounty runes because I started the game or whatever. But so like I would be like, oh, what's happening here? And then I'd try to deny this creep. So I'd like look for lane equilibrium in the middle of it. Oh, there's a person here. I'd like go back and deny creeps. These fucking bots are useless. Fucking do anything. But this for me is like what I would do, and then I'd be like, okay, what's going on up here? Okay, I'm gonna check pull. So like I'd go check the pull here. Even if it's a bot match and they're not blocking, I'd be like, oh, I want to be here at 1 minute checking pull. Okay, I want to go back. Going on mid. Why is that guy walking away? Okay, he's picking up a bounty rune that wouldn't normally be there. I'm like, okay, I'd go pull. Lane's pushing. So this is what I would do. If I were you, I'd spend like the first 3 minutes of the lane checking the pull camp, checking other lanes like this while I'm pulling, doing this while I'm pulling, doing this while I'm pulling. You know, you can even use that time to maybe practice half pulls if you'd like to practice that. Consistently looking at lane to see if they need my help. Oh, my guy's getting gone on. Walk back over. Okay, he's fine. Move away. You know, this is the kind of stuff that supports don't do enough that I would recommend you guys do, because CSing these while looking around the map is a really useful skill. So I guess before I just ramble on, does that sound like a good answer to your question, or are there holes you feel like?
That's good. I really wasn't looking for anything. I didn't have too much in mind. Just kind of open question.
Okay.
Something I've been thinking about. So
Yeah.
it's interesting.
Yeah, I mean,
and helpful.
Yeah, I think for supports, this would be my equivalent of a CS trainer.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Hey, man. No problem. Small note, I would not start games so you get in the flow with bounty runes and everybody being in lane normally. I mean, it just depends on what you're getting out of this, for sure. That's an option. Okay, Green Man, we're calling you up. Oh, I need to boot Gazu. I forgot to boot him. Okay, so I'm gonna share screen again with my stream. Okay, so your question is not being able to stick to heroes. I've heard so many times to limit your hero pool, but I just can't do it, and I start picking random stuff. I guess my question is, how do you play the same few heroes over and over without getting bored? I mean, I guess there's a lot of questions I have in response to your question. My question is, how many games a week do you play?
That varies a lot, but like I don't know, maybe like two a day or something like that. If I'm playing a lot,
Is it
two
is
three a
it
day.
feasible to have that be more consistent, or is that not feasible? Giving you the
Probably not.
oh,
No.
okay, that's fine. I just think any amount of consistency that we can add helps, but I know for most people, since this isn't like, anything more than a hobby, it's difficult to be more consistent. So
Yeah.
you're saying 2 to 3 games a day is what I heard?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's like 15 games a week. So, on top of this,
Mhm.
you said same few heroes over and over without getting bored. How many games of a hero would you say bores you?
I think that also actually varies quite a lot, but like something somewhere between like 10 and 20
Why do you get bored?
usually.
Like what is or not why? What does it look like when you're bored? Like what happens? What are you thinking? What are your thought process?
Well, I'm in the pick screen and I'm thinking, and I don't really want to play Quap again, and then I pick like Sniper or something. I think one of the reasons it happens for me is that when you pick a new hero, you improve a lot like quickly, and you're learning a lot quickly. And as you play more of the same hero, that like slows down quite a lot. And I think that's where I kind of tune out.
I see. So would you say that you might have like a arbitrary expected learning ratio to reward ratio or like effort to learning ratio?
Yeah, it's also like a little bit of like it's a little exciting to figure out something new.
I see. I talked extensively about this. I don't know if it was in a class or not, but it was from Dr. K, this whole concept of a puer aeternus. I think I'm not trying to say, if you were to watch,
Mm.
I encourage you to watch it if you haven't. Have you watched
I
it?
have, I have.
Okay. So
Yes, this is a very good video.
yeah, rather than like, when I would tell somebody to watch it or whatever, it's not because I'm calling you one, for instance, but one of my favorite lines
Mhm.
in the video is, he talks about things for me that are widely applicable to almost every gamer I've ever met. Um, so for me, it's like, yeah, we're all in this together. This is me too, one of my favorite lines of his is that we're so fixated on being efficient that we end up wasting all of our time. So for
Mm.
me, that kind of reminds me when you said, my learning speed goes significantly down as I've played a hero 5 times. I think we can all relate to this that like the first game of the hero, you learn so much. And then the second game, you probably learn a fourth as much as the first game. And then the third game, you probably learn half as much as the second game. Um,
Yeah.
so that happens to everybody for sure. Now, then the question is, why is that a problem? Um, for me, it's like, well, the price you're paying is you're never going to specialize and you're going to hit a ceiling because there's like a ceiling of understanding that you're going to hit on every single hero you ever play. Um, that's the
Mhm.
price that you're paying. Um, so I think that's important that we kind of get on the same page. Do you agree that that's like the price you're paying to do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that
So
makes sense.
So, one a lot for me is combining, okay, I don't want you to be bored, meaning like Dota's meant to be fun, but I also have found that if I don't understand the purpose of something that is work, quote unquote, like, something that is maybe on paper not as fun for you, if I don't see the benefit of it, I'm infinitely more likely to not do it. An
Yeah.
example would be like if I don't truly understand, like this applied to me, and why I'm using it as an example. When I didn't truly understand the benefits of going to the gym, I struggled immensely to remain active in going to the gym. So, like for me, I think the biggest trap that people go into is that they go to the gym to get bigger numbers. Like, I want to lift more weights, I want to do more reps, I want to run faster. And for me, I think it's incredibly hard to sustain going to the gym to climb higher numbers, because you run into the exact same problem that you just described, where the first like 3 to 6 months you're bulking up, you've literally doubled your weightlifting, and then later on you have to fucking go 5 days a week, bust your fucking ass to do an extra 2 kilos.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people, when they're motivated by the numbers of the gym, get in the rate of improvement, they lose motivation for the gym. And that applied to me for like a very long time. And so for me, what I see of the benefit of going to the gym is that it makes the rest of my life easier. The escalator at the airport was fucking broken, and I have to carry a 25-kilo bag up 3 flights of stairs. And it's like, that sucks, but I can do it because I go to the gym and it doesn't bother me. That's like an example. Another example is that I just went to a water park, probably why I'm sick. And every slide's like 4 flights of stairs to get up to. And I literally spent 7 hours walking up flights of stairs to ride slides. So if I was in worse shape, then I wouldn't be able to do that for 7 straight hours. Or, I took like a half-hour break or whatever. But the idea is that is why I go to the gym. And every time I'm having like a shitty day and I don't want to go to the gym, I'm able to like draw upon this as like, that's why I go. So for me, by limiting my understanding of heroes, meaning like if you cap yourself at like 5 to 10 games, it does make me at least enjoy the game less, because as the game gets really late, maybe I don't understand the matchups as well. Maybe I don't feel like I can clutch the game because I'm just in complete control, because I completely understand everything about this hero's timings and how it works in every stage of the game. So like for me, I feel like I have like a really clear understanding of what I benefit from this, and how if I were to play like 50 games of QoP right now, that 6 months from now I could play 1 game of QoP, have that be like a warm up, and then the second game I would be owning. But if I don't do the 50 games now, then that process will always take me like 5 games. And that sucks. Like for me, that's like the price you're paying, is that you never get that time where you're like, dude, this is a sick QoP game. And then you just pick QoP after not playing her for 2 months and you win. That's the benefit of playing a hero like 25, 30 times minimum at like the very beginning. Partially, this is actually partially the motivation of why I made that tier list video. That's my honest take on, if you're going to actually learn this hero, this is how many games you'll have to invest. If you're not willing to invest that, then you should pick a different hero. Like that's, obviously it's subjective. That's my opinion on each given hero. But that's, I guess what I'm trying to say is, I think the core crux of this is, what's going through your mind when you're bored. I think the majority of the time is there's boring stuff that we must do to enjoy life more. And unless we understand that purpose, then we're just not going to do it because it's fucking boring.
Yeah.
And so for me, the gym is an upfront investment on all these fun things. And for me, playing 25 straight games, or attempting to, because, I don't get to play the same role all the time or whatever, playing a bunch of games of the hero is an investment in future Brian. It's like, a month down the road, 6 months down the road, I'm going to enjoy this game more. Maybe today will be a bit more boring, so I have to balance that a little bit. Like one problem I ran into is I overcorrected and I wanted to always be improving, and that's also not fun. Because then you're never getting to capitalize on the stuff you're learning. So I think a lot of us lean one way or the other too much. In my case, I was always trying to learn something, and it's like, sometimes I just want to pick Ursa and fucking win the game. That'd be nice. Rather than, like, I'm not really going to improve much, but I'm going to win probably like above 50%. And then other times I'm like, I need to act like I need to learn a hero. Like I need to play some Marcy because I've lost to it 4 games in a row, or something like this. So I don't know if I helped. How
You've given me some things to think about. Because even now I'm thinking like, is it really worth it? Like, do I actually care that much, right? Like, do I even care about the MMR points? Do I want to master, or do I want to have these heroes in my pool? Is that worth it to me? Because there was one point where I tried to like learn PA. I remember this, and I played like 50 games of PA, and I lost like 90% of those games. Not only did I tank like a whole like 1K MMR, I also tanked my behavior score because everyone was reporting me because I was playing like shit.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And I'm thinking like, do I really want to do that again? And I kind of half did it with Kez already, but I still need to put like a bunch more games into that hero to really get a grip on it.
I think your response is a really good one for a lot of people to ask themselves. Is one thing I used to think is I have to learn this hero because it's meta. I think the absolute most important thing to you maximizing your performance and anyone else is that you are enjoying the thing that is hard work. Like, it's hard work to learn a new hero. It is. Like, it actually is. A lot of people think of Dota as, like, fun and stuff, but it's actually, like, it's a game. But whenever you're critically learning something new and putting yourself in an unfamiliar scenario, that's hard. It takes a lot of brain power and effort, and you're usually going to do worse at that hero than you would have done at a hero you've played a bunch of times. And this applies to real-life skills, too. So then the core, like, for me, I guess what I'm trying to say in conclusion to your question is, for me, it's all about understanding the true benefit of this and then asking yourself the question, is that even fucking worth it that I can play PA? You know, is it even worth it?
The answer for me was not worth it.
Yeah. And so
hero.
I think you can hone that. I think the biggest problem actually is if you think there's like something wrong with you or something wrong with the way you approach the game, if you don't want to play the same heroes over and over.
Yeah.
I think it's more like, who are you? What do you like about this game? You know, there is going to be quote unquote work to put into it, but you know, I really enjoy learning the new heroes that I'm trying. But there's also heroes like Lone Druid where I just said, I fucking hate this hero and I'm never going to learn it. I don't care. Like, I don't care. So the only thing I need to know is how to not feed to it. That's the only thing I need to know. So, you know, would it benefit me to like understand the hero deeper? To like, in theory, yes. There's a million things in Dota that would benefit me. But I've only got X amount of time. So if you're playing 2 games a day, then you're not going to learn every hero in the game. So I actually think the most important thing is that you are enjoying the heroes that you're learning. That would be my overall answer to your question.
Okay. I think that's very reasonable.
Sweet, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, a little bit more theoretical questions today, but awesome. I'm gonna boot you out of here.
All right.
Booted. Okay. Usually we do replays, but people are coming in with the theoretical stuff today. Okay, we got Savage Bastard. You're here. You are here. Okay. Okay. So you're talking about a very late game scenario here. Welcome, Savage Bastard. Your question is about like 31 minutes plus. I think you're muted, or are you able to speak?
Sorry, I was talking, didn't realize I had myself muted.
You're good. What's up, man? So you're looking at the late game. What's overall your questions here? 3100 MMR carry player here.
Yep. Yeah. So, I mean, the early game went for me personally anyway quite well, and I'm sure there were inflection points earlier, but this is kind of the point when I'm just way ahead of the rest of the team. I'm trying to organize the team, and people are not really kind of getting together. And I'm just curious what you think I could be doing in a game like this, where I'm kind of way ahead. My team is net worth pretty far behind, and it's hard getting folks together. I'm just kind of curious if you think there's anything I could have done differently in this kind of later portion of the game to give us a better shot at pulling this out.
Okay. My question is, as a carry player, I think it's really important that we are particular about the fights that we go to. So my question would be, what is your vision of a good fight? How does it start? What abilities does your team have at their disposal? And what is the order of operations that happens here?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. And you're asking specific to this game.
Very specific, yes.
Yeah, so because obviously we have, LC and, Tusk. And the big problem here is they have, I think, 2 Lotus Orbs in this game. So I'm having to be very picky about when I choose to Omni. Otherwise, it just nullifies everything. And so ideally, we would probably pick off somebody, with a duel, or Void would initiate on somebody who is, and the dream scenario here with being behind would be oftentimes as Jug, you can force somebody to TP somewhere else, pressuring a tower, something like that, and then take the fight back where they came from with a numbers advantage. And so I'm also having to balance the fact that they have an Orchid. And so there's definitely a lot on my mind, but I guess, ideally I want somebody else to initiate, and then I can follow up with my Swift Slash and Omni when the Lotus Orbs have expired.
I see. So for me, what I'm thinking here is that whatever I do on the map, I need to ask myself. So I heard your answer. The first question I need to ask myself is this more likely that a fight comes to me or not? So taking a Tormentor means that it's more likely the enemy team's going to come fight me, because I'm not pushing lanes, so I'm not getting information. And if they want to fight, it's easier for them. It's not guaranteed, but there's the likelihood of going for a Tormentor, going for Roche, going for a tower, is the enemy's more likely to fight you. So that's like just really important, is, am I consciously trying to make them fight me right now? Based on what you're describing to me, you're not. Secondly, if I'm looking at your map state, Warlock, no Golem, Legion up here with an item almost complete, Void Spirit nowhere to be seen. He's trying to finish a Yules when he's against an Orchid. None of this stuff says that I want them to fight me. So I would have farmed my way backwards until my Manta's up, because they have an Orchid, and then I would have TP'd mid. Assuming nothing significantly has changed right now. Question?
Sure. And so my question is really after this, like 3110 is when we defend the high ground, and then the stuff that happens kind of after it is more what I was asking.
I understand what you're asking, but my point that I want to say is your impact on these late game scenarios is, what fights are you forcing, because you're the one hitting objectives?
Absolutely.
And what does a fight look like? So in this case, your Legion's not here, your Tusk is dead. Why are we going? Right? You could just leave.
Sure.
So, if we look later at it, like, I want people to see that this situation is your team being all separated and you doing things that creates fights.
Right.
So what happens in the game is, if there's an event and there's an outcome, and how we played our role in this whole thing is what people often, it's tough to identify. So like, I'm going to fast forward, but this whole thing is, we're talking about a very complicated scenario, and we're trying to figure out what your role in this very complicated scenario is. So I'm going to fast forward. You guys were not really losing before that last fight, but you guys defend high ground, it looks like. Very nice.
Mhm.
And then you're wondering what to do from here, is what you said.
Yeah, well, so we're down to, obviously, I'm pushing up. My hope is that I can, either chip away the tower, get the shrine, and then, my team's got ults, and Roche is coming back up. And my hope at this point, I believe, was to defend Roche, and so that we could then high ground.
So for me, before you go high ground, all that matters is Roche. So if Roche is up, I would look to go do it. If it's not up yet, I would look to push the 2 lanes next to it and farm near it and get the outpost that's near it. This is the kind of stuff that matters. Like, the only thing that matters is Roche. So I can promise
Right.
you that I would not even touch this tier 3 tower. I would use potentially use my Manta Illusions on it. That's kind of game dependent. I would farm here, take this, farm here, check Roche, potentially start it,
Yep.
but maybe pause because, a lot can happen between now and then. I think
Right.
in general, people prioritize hitting these buildings. Excuse me, way too much. Just don't hit them. Just don't do that. Farm the map. Farm. 90% of what limits people past 25 minutes in terms of farm speed is enemy heroes. So when enemies are dead,
Mhm.
our first priority needs to be farm. Like, as much as there's a meme of like AFK junglers, I need you to look at this and say, your team's going high ground for sure. Like, I want like a
Mhm.
Tusk behind you with Solar Crest and a Warlock with the level 15 talent, like fucking putting the soup on you. That's what it means to go high ground. Otherwise, you're just fucking hitting creeps.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, like,
Yep.
I asked you earlier, what does a good fight look like? The next question is, what does a high ground look like? So,
Sure.
even if there's 3 heroes dead on their side, 2 heroes dead on your side, what does it look like with this exact hero comp up for you guys to be doing something? And if I look at the map right now, it's not that.
Mhm.
Right? Maybe we have different answers because it's Dota's so complicated that 2 different players can have 2 different answers. But the point is that understand things that will better help you win these games is to be very clear to yourself what a good fight looks like and what a good objective attempt looks like. And so,
Sure.
in this case, it's nice to get half the damage to the tier 3, but it doesn't actually do anything. In the sense of like, half the damage to this tower just doesn't really mean much in the grand scheme of the game. What matters is the Roshan that's coming, that you're with your team. So like, what I would have wanted was like pure map control. You were here, you like manted this
Yes.
wave at 3245, and then you connect to the 2 guys that were top. Because earlier the Warlock and Tusk were both top. So I would have
Right.
wanted you to connect to them or tell them to connect to you, because it's better if they connect to you because Roche is bottom. But
Right.
even if they don't come to you and you have to literally go to them to smoke, whatever, like, I need you guys to connect on the map.
Yep.
And so if that's your communication and people just don't listen, then I'm going to cautiously defend this area, and I'm at least optimistic that since I can spend TP, I have a bit more agency in this game.
Right.
Oh no, they have an abyssal on this guy. I looked on this guy, but they have an
Yeah,
abyssal on this.
and that is, I think, what essentially I did here, and then I saw them coming, and we weren't really together, so I backed off, and unfortunately my team kind of stayed mid, got caught.
Yeah, I
and
mean, what
then-
happened here is difficult. Like, not too much you can do about it. You're gonna push in the bottom.
And it just
lane.
feels like this pattern kind of keeps repeating.
I think the primary way you would have addressed that problem was by playing for macro and then joining your team earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen enough. I think that you being much more intentional about the fights like this one that happened at 29, you're hitting this tier
Yes.
3. This is the kind of stuff that it's not going to guaranteed win you the game, but I want you to see how you're either optimally committing to objectives or you're just farming. And right now you're kind of wishy-washying that.
Mhm.
And if we can get that out of your system, then a lot less fights that are out of your control will happen. They'll still happen though.
Okay.
You can't control your teammates, but you can lower the probability that it'll happen. based on your moves. That would be my answer to your question. Does that
Okay.
sound good?
Yeah, that's fine.
Sweet, man.
Appreciate your help. Hope you feel better, man.
Yeah, thank you. I'm gonna boot you. Okay. Okay, we got Void, 2600 MMR Ursa. I feel like that's higher than when we coached recently. Is that higher? You can let me know. Maybe I'm crazy.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, man.
Yeah. Things. The number has been going up.
Nice.
So yeah, things have been going good, going well.
Sick, man. I'm sick, actually. Position 1 Ursa, 2600. You're looking at 26 minutes. My question is, what type of proactive play should I be looking to set up in the game now? I have items to fight, but my team is kind of meandering, and it's difficult for me to push with the as far up with the Nyx and Bane. What ends up usually happening is I just hit creeps and wait for something to happen. Okay. I failed to download this replay for some reason. I'm going to reload Dota. Would you like to elaborate on that at all, or did that about sum it up?
Yes. I mean, basically, I think you'll see like in the game that it's 26 minutes. The map is kind of dark. I guess it's kind of a little bit more related to the since there's a Nyx and a Bane in the game. I think it means that I can't really. I think I already wrote this, I guess, but I can't really push. So I kind of feel like I'm just sitting around waiting for stuff to happen, and just a lot more reactive, and that usually doesn't go as well.
So what hero do you need to be near to feel good to advance on the map on your team?
Well, I think it's pretty obvious. Abaddon.
Okay. So that's my first question before I even load up the replay. So we're going to see how can we meaningfully connect to Abaddon. That's how I would first ask that question. And maybe he's making it impossible, but we're going to find out. Okay, so Abaddon's dead. What does he have? Okay, he's got a Pega build. This guy's got bots, so we don't need to play around him. Got Ricky behind you. Cancel stuff. I think I would have gone Ags over BKB here. I'd probably go both, actually. So, okay. You know, interestingly enough, you know, I think the whole thing that boils down to here is that, you know, I think I said I would connect to Abaddon, right? And so right now, there's no creeps to farm. It's the new minute. And you have a chance to connect to Abaddon, and you don't.
Okay.
And what happens? He gets gone on. That's exactly who we want to get gone on. And you're not there. So this is like a perfect opportunity where if you asked that question, I don't feel like I can advance on the map. What hero do I need to advance on the map? The option is usually to play around that guy, regardless of where he is. And it just has to make sense logistically. Meaning, if it's 2640, and you haven't farmed these two camps yet, then you finish the two camps. But you farmed here, it's now 2650. Stuff like this is more likely to be good for you later on in the minute, like at 2650 compared to 2715. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So now we can start having your I'm strong. What hero, and like there's something on their team that makes it difficult to exert my strength. What hero or item or approach do we need to take? Like, do we need to smoke? You know, for me, your lineup's not the best at doing anything because you're the only stun. Like, CM's a root, you know, Jakiro mid and Ricky. Like, these are all like soft stuns, you know, like not real stuns. So that means that the most likely fight is them going on you, or in this case, your teammate. So when we're combining who do we want to play around and why with what does a good fight look like, I'd be like, oh, they're all missing. I'm going to sit right behind this Abaddon. And worst case scenario, they don't go on your Abaddon. And maybe you guys smoke, or maybe you farm behind him up here and you're still farming. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes sense. I think I just some games are just different in how you play.
It's very
Yeah,
different.
just
It's very
yeah,
different. I mean, the most important thing when what I'm trying to teach in the dojo here is that people don't often enough apply hyper contextual information. But that's why
yeah,
questions are so powerful. Is what is stopping me from being aggressive? So like for you, this is going to be a problem you run into in a decent portion of games where you're like, I'm strong and I don't feel like I can do anything. Right? Like that happens. So then,
exactly.
us breaking it down into, okay, what is preventing me from being strong? You already said that in your summary. You're like, I can't advance on the map by myself. My team was kind of playing passively. You said meandering. Like in this case, they're not really doing anything. Like I see that. Your Jakiro's sitting mid. Your Abaddon was like TPing top to farm at 27 minutes. That just is what it is. So it's like, but like, it's with the situation we're given, the heroes, we can't be strong because of their aggressive heroes. So, and I'm the only stun. So I need somebody else on my team to get gone on because I'm the only stun and I don't want to go first. So that means somebody has to get initiated onto. Okay, who needs to get initiated onto? And so then, like, when you go through these series of questions every single time that you feel strong but you don't know what to do with it, then you'll just simply get better at answering the question and you'll start profiling heroes in the game. You'll be like, oh, Abaddon's a great hero to bait with, or do I have hard lockdown? Who does go first? And you'll think about heroes in the game that offer that. You know what I mean? And you'll be like, I don't have that. And you'll be able to identify that very quickly because you've done this a million times, right? So you'll start profiling the way that heroes interact with these questions, and just kind of archiving it over time. So yeah, for me, that's your big issue here. I think it's really great, meaning like it's a good sign and probably why you're gaining MMR, that I look at the net worths here. And how you exert your net worth is going to be, it's a bit more of a complicated, it's a lot more of a complicated question than getting the net worth. So it looks like you're getting the net worth, which is great. It doesn't surprise me that you're winning more than 50% of your games. If you'll 100% win more than 50% of your games at 2.6K, if you're top net worth, like it's just going to happen. So now we want to convert more than, 55%. We want to make it 57% or whatever. We want to slowly but surely solve these problems of games where you're running into these scenarios where your hero isn't naturally able to do anything on its own. And it's your job to be effectively smarter than your teammates and use their heroes to your advantage. They don't need to understand this. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you understand it, you will get out of the bracket, period. And so, yeah, it's just a gradual development over time. I think it's, probably proof in the pudding that you're number one net worth in this game, and you said you've been gaining MMR. So you're going to probably find yourself in this situation a decent amount as you're climbing. It's going to happen more and more, probably. So
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, it gives me something to think about instead of just thinking, oh, I can't do anything, my team sucks, and then just whatever. There's a whole other dimension to it.
yeah, for sure, man. Any other questions or any?
No, that's all. That's perfect. Thank you.
Sweet.
That's exactly what I was looking for.
No problem, dude. Peace. Booting you.
See ya.
Okay. And last but not least, we got Sunny. We got all carries today. Sunny on the carry. Oh, you don't have a replay. You have questions. Let me just read this. Okay. Hello.
Hey, sorry, feeling bad, BSJ.
Thanks, man. It's life, it was worth it. I got to ride a bunch of water slides, so
Sweet.
Okay. So your question is on. I'm just gonna read it. Okay. I'll share it with my stream as well. I don't have a replay. Okay, I prepared for the week, but do have a question. Okay, I've picked a lot of Gyroopter in the past years. Similar to Luna, these heroes have fallen off for me even when they're good because I'm rusty and not 100% confident on when to draft them. What types of 5s pair well with Gyroopter? What types of offlaners and supports ruin Gyroopter's laning phase? Being outranged, being all in, killed 100 to 0. How do I sustain myself jungling with no lifesteal? Would you like me to just start answering, or do you have anything else you'd like to say real quick?
No, we can jump right into it.
Okay, I'm gonna show people this Dota while I think about this. So for me, the biggest issue on Gyroopter in the laning phase is that he has a really good base attack speed. He has 125 base attack speed. Not base attack time, but attack speed. So he attacks really fast. And he has Flak potentially to harass. He has Rocket to make people fuck off the range creep. Or he has Rocket Barrage to like go hit the 4 a bunch, level 1 or something. Point is, he has different tools. But he has really good attack speed. Really high move speed. Decent armor. His only problem is he has fucking shit damage. So the heroes that make him feel really bad are ones that sit on top of the creep wave and deny in front of him. So what type of supports are really good? Ones that boot people off the creep wave. Tusk, Marcy, Warlock, Jakiro, for instance. Heroes that you wouldn't want are heroes that sit behind you. Like Pudge or something. You wouldn't want something like Oracle, potentially. It's like good in game, but not good in lane. You know, something like AA. You know, there's heroes that need their carry to be the catalyst in lane. You know, even something like Snapfire is enabled by you being strong. I wouldn't want a Snapfire with Gyro. I would want Warlock. I want Jakiro. I want Tusk. Undying boots them off the creep wave. That's the type of support that I think is good with Gyroopter. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's actually like what my instinct told me in all the games I played with Gyro. It feels like I want a support that's strong, that can do things independent of me.
Yeah, basically, if they're not allowed to sit there denying creeps, Gyroopter free farms. That's my experience. And if they are, then it feels pretty miserable to play Gyroopter. Very polarizing hero. With that in mind, you know, you asked more questions. I think your support matters way more than the offlaner duo because it's Gyro's job to make the opponent fuck off rather than like specific heroes being good against Gyro. It's like, can your lane make them fuck off? It's like when you Warlock Fatal Bonds and press Flak, like the offlaner loses a third of their HP or more, period. Like there's nothing they can do about it, so you will free farm. I mean, the heroes that Gyro's really good against are heroes that rely on, like, his best matchup, for instance, is Enigma and Beastmaster, because these are heroes that rely on, like, 500 range summons to harass the carry, and Gyro just presses Flak, and they die.
Right.
Like, so these heroes are, like, if you look at competitive Dota, like, Beastmaster and Enigma pick, ban Gyro. Like, it just always happens. Or pick Gyro if they think they can take it. But those are the heroes that Gyro is the best against. I think the heroes that Gyro is the worst against are ones that can effectively penetrate your support plus your Rocket Barrage. That would be my thought. So I wouldn't pick Gyro without a strong laning 5. I just wouldn't do it.
Okay, that was the main question I was trying to get at.
Yeah. Because in regards to Gyro post laning phase, you know, what the hero does do a great job for is that he can just shove the wave with Flak and leave. And he can also go through the gate as an option. So he has a lot of like potential rotating to mid, potential rotating to through the gate. The hero has a lot of options. So a lot of times, the most important thing at 5 minutes is, okay, when I flack the wave out, am I pulling small? Am I jungling? Like, I want big camp and small camp available usually. So I'll even consider buying myself my own sentry for both of those. Because not only is it good to be able to push the wave and pull, but you can literally use the big camp to flack the wave.
Right.
So it actually makes you safer to have a big camp there.
I don't know that I've seen you play a lot of gyro that I can recall. Do you like to go the Culling Blade to open up the vision?
Yeah, I mean, I was playing him a lot down here. There's like gyro. I was playing him. This was after I stopped streaming though. So
Gotcha.
yeah, I mean, my intent was to make a gyro guide. I've just had a lot going on. So I do think Quelling Blade is super useful for that, yeah. Generally speaking, if I don't start with it, I'll lean towards getting it a lot of the time, because giving yourself vision for flak speeds up farm a lot, in my experience.
Sure. It's a
Not as
small
important
luxury.
on Luna. Yeah. I'd say it's a small luxury that is not actually so small. I'd say it's a pretty big luxury.
Okay.
But yeah, that would be my answer to your Gyroopter question. Was there any follow-up you had?
By comparison, like, do you think Gyroopter is way better than Luna? Because I kind of pair them in like a similar category of carry. They're both being like.
I mean,
short
Gyro,
range,
Medusa, Luna are all the same archetype. Like
Yeah,
every
like-
top tier carry considers these 3 similar archetype. I'd say in the current meta, Gyroopter is way better than Luna.
and the reason for that is because Gyro has like better laning, right, and better early. Like he's better at like that twin gate movement.
Honestly,
like more
what
even
carries
power
need to be able
spikes.
to do if they're ranged is survivably push the lane and leave. And that's why Medusa was so broken for so long. Is she had to be nerfed like 5 times because she just walked up to the wave, snaked it, and walked away. And it's like, how do you kill her? She shows for like 2 seconds and she is like super tanky. So, with Luna, it takes her like she doesn't affect
her longer,
the
yeah.
offlaner by hitting the creep wave. Right? With Gyroopter, you can literally flak from camps, you can do anything. Luna has to be 300 range, not hitting anyone else, only the creeps. And her skill that she wants to max doesn't help her fight either. So Gyro has, like, Luna has beam for fighting and glaives for farming. Gyro has flak for farming and flak for fighting. Like, they're both good. So, yeah, I think right now it's just, and also Luna's like best build is the Ags build, which kind of like people just learn to play against it, I think. I mean, I love Luna, but she sucks right now. That's how it feels, at least.
Yeah.
That would be my answer. Any other questions about that?
No, I think that got everything. Thank you.
Sick, man. I'm gonna boot you. I keep saying sick, and it's just ironic because I'm sick. Okay. Yeah, that is about it for, I mean, that is the end of the questions for the class. Was there any other quick questions that you guys have? I'm happy to go an extra few minutes if you guys have a question. Ideally, a follow-up to one of these. Doesn't have to be. Can you check Nate's question above? Follow-up question: as a non-carry player, who does Ursa jump first here? I mean, a lot in that game was the fact that it'd be whoever exposes themselves the most when they go on the Abaddon. I think there were several good targets. Viper was good. Bane was good. Nyx was good. Because, like, there's, like, 3 or 4 heroes that if you don't go on them, potentially fuck you, right? So you have to like preemptively ult or BKB depending on who you go on in that game. I have a question, but it's about offlane. You're welcome to ask a question, Mr. Chatter. If there's anybody else in the class that would like to ask a question, I'll stick around for like 5 more minutes. How do you think you could fix Alk to be relevant? Alk's been seeing some play, I feel like. I've seen Alk in pubs. I don't think the hero's completely irrelevant. I guess my question is, why do you think he's irrelevant? How does TB stack up in this meta? I like TB a lot. He's really bad against PL, so if I was trying to play TB, I would ban PL. I tried to play TB today, actually. I did pick it in this jug game, but then it got banned. Like, somebody else on the enemy team picked it. But I tried to pick it against Jakiro Venomancer. I like TB against Veno a lot, because you kill his wards really easily, and you reflect him for his passive or whatever. I really like that matchup. I don't get how to properly recover as an offlaner when bad lanes happen. I think that definitely depends on the hero you're playing. I think if you're struggling a lot in lane, you can consider playing offlaners that jungle a bit better. I'd be curious what heroes you're picking. Was PL banned? Yes, he was. That's why I picked TB. Why so much Hurricane Pike after Manta on TB lately? I haven't personally seen that a ton, but with heroes like Ursa in the meta and Marcy, that's probably why. There's a lot of like get in your face melee guys in the meta right now. And there's also a lot of Nature's Prophet. And Hurricane Pike's like a nice way to deal with Nature's Prophet as well. There is a correct position, Fat Cerberus. There's definitely a correct position there. I would say that's more comes down to watching a Saberlight Sand King, you know, seeing what he does, because these people would get it right. I play Brood, Darkseer, Doomtide. Yeah, I mean, I guess it just depends on... I mean, my thought is that if you're consistently struggling in lane, I would pick stronger laners. Like, in general, those 4 heroes, I would say, are pretty weak laners right now. So, like, if I was you, I'd be picking, like, Primal Beast or Marcy or Slardar. These are heroes that are, like, Axe, that are much stronger laners right now. And I just think that's, like, worth considering for you, that if you're consistently struggling in lanes that you're losing and your team is not making it possible to play, then that's, like, the trigger for learning a new hero, basically. Are the rumors true? Thompson, Gork, and company playing Putin's tournaments. I saw that, but I don't talk to them personally, so I don't know. But I can understand your frustration when you lose a lane that's and your team doesn't really give you the chance to recover. But I've found that there's always something you can potentially do, and sometimes that does require you to change your hero. Is Drow walking multi-shot enough to clear waves safely? Yes and no. You need Ags to like clear the full wave usually. I mean, generally speaking, Drow just has a really tough time in the first like 15, 20 minutes of the game. Very easy to gank. Needs like 2 or 3 items. Doesn't like flash farm. Yeah, feel free to come back with a specific question, Red Rover. You know, I think that's the kind of stuff that if you came to class with it, you can have a 10-minute conversation with me about. That's the whole point of the class, I'd say. What does he mean? What tournament? There's like a gamer something, gamer, I don't know, gamer universe or something like this. I mean, the thing that I'm trying to do is that I will generally cut people off at 10 minutes. Almost always. So it's more like if you have a big question, the worst case scenario is it doesn't get fully answered. That's like worst case scenario. Just came across your videos, brand new to Dota, and you are by far the best person I have found for explaining the game. Hell yeah, Z Gibbs. Welcome to Dota, man. That's awesome. That's awesome. I have difficulty converting winning games. In the games I play good, I don't go high ground until we get Roche, and sometimes not with Roche, which I think is the right thing to do. Any tips? Yeah, I mean, that sounds like you're on the right track. There's a lot of context missing there. So the question I would then ask you is, what fights are you taking? Where are you taking the fights around? How do you set up fights? Because it sounds like the key component missing there that I don't see is the fights. BSJ met a guy in here the other night, had 33 games under his belt in Dota 2. Nice. Sounds like we're getting some newer players. I honestly think there's way more new players to Dota than people realize. I think the Dota community usually shuts them up and just like acts like they don't exist. So just shout out to new Dota players out there. You're more than welcome in the Dota Dojo. Check out the Discord. I believe that there's a lot of supportive people here that are here to help you learn the game. And we would love to start having features for in the community for newer players. So just right now, we've got other priorities, but there's also just not enough new players to like build something off of it. But if you guys are new, please join and let us know you're here and we can work towards building something for you. I think it's really exciting to have new Dota players. I think it's awesome. I think it's the best game ever made. And it helps. It not helps. It brightens my day to hear a person starting Dota. I think that's exciting. There's going to be a playlist on YouTube there, Nate. That whole YouTube series is going to be on a playlist, so hopefully it'll be more than clear for you how to find it. Yeah, me and Erfan are meeting tomorrow about episode 2 of that series, of the one where we talked about towers. Yeah, that's exactly why we're making the playlist, to be honest, is a mutual understanding of how Dota 2 functions with experienced players, because we feel like we need to establish like a language of sorts and like the foundation of the game that is making it difficult to teach people because they're not operating under this same foundation. And then it's also something for people to send to newer players to give them a foundation. That's like, it's meant to be both things. So yeah, I mean, we would love to help you help other people. That's best case scenario for sure. Above all, you motivated me to be a better person. Your second channel was so vulnerable and like a mirror to me. More power to you. Fuck yeah, man. Wait, hey man, I hope you're doing well. I also started my Dota journey 5 years ago with you and Purge's videos. Lots of respect and love. I hope you understand how much impact you've had on all of us. That's really wholesome, man. That's a really fucking nice thing to say. Would you recommend sticking with a hero as a new player? I think there's 2 ways at any given moment to approach the game, and you just need to interchange them. So there's one thing, which is learning the skill of learning a new hero or of mastering a hero. So in order to do that, you need to play the same hero a lot of times. and like rinse and repeat and become very efficient at creating the same scenario over and over in like very chaotic games. That's like one skill. The other skill is to learn what the fuck is going on in the game. And that can be done by just randoming and reading your hero skills as you play it, you know? So for me, it's about being conscious of which one you're doing. So am I just learning some new heroes today? Or am I trying to learn how to master heroes? Like, what am I doing today? I think for me, that's all that matters. And knowing that I think those are the two most efficient ways to like learn the game if you're new. Yeah. But okay, guys, we're gonna wrap up the coaching class here. Thanks so much for joining. Hope you guys had fun. That's gonna be it for today. But yeah, thanks for joining me, guys. Quick on the schedule for tomorrow, we have one coaching session at 2 p.m. CET, which is 6 hours ago. So we have one coaching session tomorrow. And so, you know, stay tuned. There's going to be a lot more content to come. I'm super excited about the near future. One thing to keep in mind is that I don't know the exact schedule, but Erfan and I are going to be watching some of Dream League together. Probably like 2 or 3 days of the tournament. We're going to watch a series together and analyze it. So that's going to be some new streams for you guys. People for some time now have been asking about watching professional tournaments. So we're going to be doing that. That's like what's new on the pipeline. So stay tuned. I'll try my best to keep you guys informed of when that's happening. No, these will be live streams. But yeah. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and joining me for class. I'll see you guys later. Get well soon. Thank you. I probably wasn't supposed to talk this much, but it's all good. I had a really nice stream today. Today's been a good day. Been a very good day. I may sound like I'm miserable or whatever because I'm sick, but today's been a good day. There we go. I feel like that wasn't focused on me very well. But hey, how do you feel about the Blast Slam Axe build of just buying armor rings? That was becoming more and more common, and it seems like people have been gravitating towards Helm of the Dominator and maxing Battle Hunger, which makes sense. It's like a really good boot people out of lane build. And I feel like the highest value thing to do right now is to boot the carry out of lane. I feel like if the carry is allowed to occupy lane, it's like GG. Like if one carry is allowed to do that and the other carry is not, I feel like it's like GG right now. I've like felt that in my games as well. Like the team that does that wins like 75% of the time. So I think the most important part about being off lane right now is to have a hero that naturally boots people out of lane. So it makes sense for Axe specifically. The way to accomplish that the earliest is to rush Helm of the Dominator and max Battle Hunger. And if you're maxing Battle Hunger, then buying armor makes sense because it increases your damage. Show us the artwork. This was actually from Liquid, Team Liquid. When I joined, they did a little like get to know BSJ. So yeah, it was like custom artwork made by one of the Team Liquid artists. I mean, part of my plan is to have this entire wall behind me decorated. It's not a necessity, so it hasn't happened yet. There's a lot of other stuff going on in my life, but that picture will be probably one of the stuff behind me. Thank you, Sarajina. How do you feel? Oh, you don't like the idea of buying basic items that turn into nothing. I understand that, but it's much like Dota is really about what do I need right now. There's not too much foresight that's required from stage of the game. Like when we're talking about items, a lot of it is what do I need right now and what happens next. Like what is the next thing? So, my only thought about what you said in terms of like feeling bad about buying items that don't convert is that only matters when you're selling them, which is like 15 minutes plus. So I think you're maybe worried about something that you can't, like you're prioritizing something higher than what is optimal to prioritize, I guess is like how I would word that. But yeah, guys, thanks so much for watching. That's going to be it for today's stream. Don't forget to check out the Discord server if you haven't already. There is a free 30-day trial to join the classes. That can be found in the link in the description below. On YouTube, there is a link in the description. And then in Twitch, there's a command !classes that somebody already typed. So make sure to check that out, guys. We do, you will be able to join these classes on a free trial. After that, it is $25 per month, but you'll have ample amount of time to decide if it was worth it to you. So definitely feel free to come and join us. More the merrier. I'm going to log off. Have a good night, everybody. Bye-bye.